Niccolo Machiavelli died 5 centuries ago, but if he walked among us today, he would still outsmart nearly everyone alive. Why? Because human nature has not changed. Our tools may be digital, our kingdoms may be corporations, our wars may be fought in silence, but ambition, envy, fear, and desire still rule the human heart. Machiavelli did not give us morality. He gave us reality. He stripped the mask from power and showed us how it truly works. And if you want to win in today's ruthless world, where reputations are destroyed in seconds, alliances collapse overnight, and weakness is exploited without mercy, then you must learn his 21 rules of power. These rules are not about being good. They are about being effective, about surviving and rising while others fall, about mastering the game that everyone plays, but only the few understand. 1. Never defend yourself. Control the frame. The greatest mistake in the pursuit of power is the instinct to defend yourself. When accusations are hurled at you, when rumors spread, when whispers of doubt creep into the air, your first reaction will be to answer, to explain, to prove your innocence. But this is precisely the trap your enemies have set for you. The moment you defend, you admit weakness. You acknowledge that their words carry weight, that their opinion has the power to put you on trial. Machiavelli understood that defense is submission in disguise. When you explain yourself, you are no longer dictating the conversation, you are reacting to it. And in the game of power, reaction is death. Far wiser is the path of silence, dismissal, or scorn. To remain unmoved by accusation is to show that the accuser is unworthy of your attention. The crowd will begin to wonder. If he does not answer, perhaps he does not need to. Doubt then turns on the attacker, not on you. Remember, power does not justify itself. It makes others justify themselves before it. To hold the frame is to hold control, and the one who controls the frame controls the truth. 2. Appear moral, act strategic. The world despises those who appear too ruthless, too cunning, too willing to seize power with a naked hand. People do not want to be ruled by wolves, they want to believe they are led by shepherds. And so, Machiavelli warned, you must master the art of disguise. Cloak your ambition in the language of virtue. Let your words drip with morality, compassion, and justice, even while your heart calculates with cold precision. A true player of power does not show his claws, he hides them behind a velvet glove. To appear moral is not only protection, it is a weapon. It lulls suspicion, disarms critics, and draws allies who would recoil if they saw your true designs. The appearance of goodness is more useful than goodness itself because people cling to appearances more than they cling to truth. They do not care what you are, they care what they can see and what they can believe. And so you give them the illusion they crave, the noble leader, the selfless friend, the virtuous ally. But behind the mask, you are the strategist, the serpent in the garden, the one who moves unseen while others sleep in comfort. This is not hypocrisy, it is survival. For in a world where wolves are hunted, only the wolf dressed as a lamb lives long enough to rule the flock. 3. Fear is stronger than love. Love is a delicate chain, beautiful but fragile. It must be constantly fed with attention, affection, and reward, or it withers into disappointment. A man who rules by love alone places his fate in the hands of others, for affection can turn to hatred in an instant. Fear, however, is made of iron. It does not depend on emotion, nor does it fade with neglect. A man who is feared does not need to be adored. He is obeyed regardless of sentiment. Machiavelli understood that people betray those they love when their interests shift, but they rarely disobey those they fear, for the cost is too high.
To be both loved and feared is the highest achievement, but life rarely grants such balance. If you must choose, then choose fear, for it is the sturdier foundation. Fear binds through consequences, while love binds only through choice. Yet beware, fear must not turn to hatred, for hatred inspires rebellion. A wise ruler walks the knife's edge, stern enough to command obedience, but measured enough to avoid becoming despised. In the end, affection is a gift others may withhold, but fear is a contract you enforce. And in the ruthless theater of power, enforced loyalty will always outlast voluntary devotion. 4. Never show all your cards. In the game of power, transparency is a death sentence. The moment others can see all that you are, all that you intend, you become predictable, and predictability is weakness. A ruler, a strategist, a player of influence must always keep something hidden. Reveal little but hold much. Speak less than you know, promise less than you can give, show less than you possess. In mystery lies strength. When others cannot read your mind, they are forced to guess, and guessing creates hesitation, and hesitation is the ally of power. The man who is transparent invites manipulation, for his enemies know exactly where to strike. But the man who hides his intentions keeps even the boldest rivals cautious, for every move he makes might conceal another. Think of a card player who lays all his hand on the table. His game is already lost. The wise Machiavellian plays slowly, carefully, letting others think they understand while keeping the decisive piece close to his chest. Your unpredictability is not chaos, it is calculated design. When they believe they can anticipate you, shock them. When they think you are weak, strike with hidden strength. Power thrives in uncertainty, and the one who keeps others guessing never truly loses control. 5. Control perception, reality will follow. Human beings do not live by cold facts. They live by stories. They cling to symbols, appearances, and narratives far more than they cling to truth. This is why the master of perception is more powerful than the master of reality. If you control the way people see, you control the way they think. If you shape the narrative, you shape the world. A defeat can be reframed as a noble sacrifice. A weakness can be spun into humility or restraint. Even failure can be recast as wisdom gained through suffering. Reality matters far less than the story told about it. Machiavelli knew this. Rulers who lost wars but maintained the illusion of strength remained on their thrones, while rulers who won battles but failed to command perception were toppled by whispers. In politics, in business, in society, the narrative is the battlefield, and the truth is irrelevant if no one believes it. To survive in power, you must master the art of storytelling, the theater of appearances. Let others drown in facts while you weave meaning. For once perception is secured, reality itself bends to follow it. The crowd does not ask what is, they ask what seems, and he who answers that question controls their loyalty, their obedience, and their fate.
6. Exploit people's self-interest. No one truly cares about you. They care about themselves. Their loyalty, their friendship, their devotion, all of it is conditional, tied not to your well-being, but to their own advantage. Machiavelli understood that appeals to morality or gratitude are weak because they demand people rise above their nature. And human nature rarely rises, it sinks to self-interest. If you want influence, do not beg for loyalty, do not ask for sacrifice. Instead, align your goals with their desires. Offer them what they crave: profit, recognition, safety, glory. and they will follow you willingly, even eagerly. Promise them a piece of what they hunger for, and while they reach out with both hands, you can quietly climb higher. This is the hidden lever of power. Men believe they are serving themselves, but in truth, they are serving you. The wise leader does not fight human selfishness. He uses it. He turns greed into an engine, vanity into a leash, ambition into a chain. People are not moved by your dreams, they are moved by their own. Give them a reason to believe that your rise is their gain, and they will build your throne with their own hands. And when the structure is complete, they will not even realize that they have made themselves your subjects. 7. Strike first before you are struck. In the ruthless arena of power, waiting to be attacked is the surest path to ruin. Most men hesitate, clinging to the illusion that they are safe so long as they do not provoke. But Machiavelli knew the truth. Danger festers in silence, and the seeds of betrayal grow while you sleep. By the time you see the knife, it is already at your throat. The wise strategist does not wait. He watches, he calculates, and when he senses even the faintest threat, he strikes before the blow can come. A preemptive strike is not cruelty, it is survival. In politics, reputations are assassinated faster than men. In business, rivals work in shadows to topple you before you can rise. In life, envy breeds in silence until it turns into action. To strike first is to rob your enemy of initiative, to dismantle their power before it gathers strength. It does not always require violence. Sometimes it is the quiet removal of influence, the subtle destruction of alliances, the silent spread of suspicion that isolates them. But always it is decisive. The one who strikes first defines the battlefield. The one who hesitates fights on ground chosen by another. And in the game of power, to fight on another man's terms is already to be defeated. 8. Keep your hands clean. Power often requires dirty work, betrayals, dismissals, sacrifices, even destruction. But the powerful man understands that while such deeds may be necessary, they must never be traced back to him. Your image must remain untarnished, your reputation spotless, even while the blood runs beneath your throne. Machiavelli warned that rulers who openly stain themselves with cruelty or treachery invite hatred, and hatred is more dangerous than any enemy. Thus, the art lies in separation. Let others do what must be done, while you appear untouched. Use ministers, allies, scapegoats, or circumstance itself to bear the burden of blame. When punishment must fall, let another deliver it. When betrayal must occur, let another carry it out. When harsh decisions must be made, present them as forced by necessity, never as your will. In this way, you appear merciful while remaining effective.
Consider history's most cunning rulers. They rarely gave the order directly. Instead, they set the stage, nudged events, and allowed the axe to fall by another's hand. To the world, they remained the benevolent guide, the father of the people, the noble protector, while in truth, they orchestrated everything. This is the paradox of power, to rule with iron, but to appear clothed in silk, to wield the knife, but never be seen holding it. For when storms of resentment gather, they do not strike you, they strike the pawn who carried out your will. And when calm returns, you stand above it all, unsullied, admired, and untouchable. 9. Divide to conquer. Unity is the enemy of power.
A crowd united can rise against a king. A workplace united can topple a leader. A people united can break any chain. Machiavelli knew that no matter how strong you are, if those beneath you join together, their combined force will overwhelm you. This is why the wise ruler never allows true unity to flourish. He divides. He sows suspicion. He whispers doubts and fuels rivalries. He ensures that no two allies trust each other fully. No rivals ever form a stable bond. No followers ever become too aligned. Division weakens the masses while strengthening the one who commands them. It keeps potential challengers too busy fighting each other to ever challenge you. In politics, this means fostering opposing factions and playing them against one another so that both sides depend on you. In business, it means keeping competitors locked in rivalry while you remain the quiet beneficiary. In life, it means ensuring that those who might one day resist you are too entangled in their own conflicts to ever unite against you. But the art of division must be subtle. You do not openly declare it, for people despise manipulation when it is visible. Instead, you become the invisible hand that shifts alliances, the quiet architect of suspicion, the silent voice that plants doubt. Over time, you make yourself indispensable, the one who alone can stand above the chaos, the one who alone seems neutral, the one who alone can mediate. And when others finally look up from their infighting, they see that while they were clawing at each other, you were rising above them. This is how empires are held, how corporations are controlled, how kingdoms endure, not by uniting the many, but by ensuring the many can never unite without you. 10. Adapt like water. Rigidity is the downfall of the proud. The oak may tower above the forest, but when the storm comes, it snaps. The reed bends, yielding to the wind, and survives to stand another day. Power belongs not to the strongest in muscle or resources, but to the most adaptable. Machiavelli understood that circumstances change, alliances shift, fortunes rise and fall, and those who cling too tightly to a single plan are destroyed. To survive and to thrive, you must flow, adjust, and evolve as if you were water itself. Adaptation is not weakness, it is mastery disguised as compliance. Sometimes you must yield in public while advancing your goals in secret. Sometimes you must accept temporary humiliation to secure long-term victory. Sometimes you must change allegiances, appearances, or tactics to reflect the moment's reality. Those who cannot adjust become trapped by their own inflexibility, and the world moves on without them. The wise ruler watches, learns, and flows into opportunities others fail to see. He does not resist change, he bends with it, and in doing so, he guides it toward his own advantage.
In the modern world, adaptability is even more crucial. Markets collapse overnight. Alliances dissolve with a single tweet. Reputations can be destroyed in seconds. The one who adapts moves with these forces, harnessing chaos instead of being crushed by it. The rigid, the proud, the unyielding, they become relics, reminders of a world that no longer exists. Power rewards those who see the currents beneath the surface, who shift with them, who become invisible in their fluidity until the moment arrives to strike. Be water, bend, flow, and survive. Only then can you bend the world itself to your will. Number 11. Never reveal your true intentions. The most dangerous information you can ever give away is the map of your own mind. When others know what you plan, they have the power to resist, to prepare, to undermine. Machiavelli warned that revealing your intentions is like handing your opponent the key to your castle. The truly powerful speak little, act subtly, and conceal the trajectory of their ambitions behind layers of misdirection. Your goals are yours alone. Your moves must appear accidental, your victories inevitable.
This is not deception for the sake of cruelty. It is strategy for the sake of survival. Let others think they understand you. Let them believe you are harmless, indecisive, or distracted. While they rest in their false sense of certainty, you advance, carefully, invisibly, inexorably. The mind that is hidden is untouchable. When you finally reveal your strength or your plan, it will appear as though fate itself has carried it out, and those who underestimated you will be powerless to resist. In practical terms, this means smiling while you plot, agreeing while you maneuver, and listening more than you speak. It means building alliances and sabotaging competitors without them ever suspecting your hand. Timing, patience, and subtlety are everything. The less people know of your true intentions, the more they will underestimate you, and the more freedom you have to act. Power thrives in shadows, in the spaces between words and gestures, in the silence where others cannot see the strategy unfolding. Reveal too much and you are vulnerable. Reveal nothing and the world moves to your rhythm without even realizing it. Number 12. Keep allies dependent. Allies are useful only when they need you more than you need them. Machiavelli understood that the strongest bond is not affection, but dependence. Give just enough to make people reliant on you, to make them believe that without your guidance, protection, or favor, they cannot succeed. In doing so, you do not merely earn their loyalty, you make them incapable of rebellion. The one who controls the levers of others' ambitions controls their actions, their choices, and ultimately their fate. Dependency is subtle. It is built over time with carefully measured rewards. A promotion here, a secret favor there, a piece of knowledge that cannot be obtained elsewhere. Let them rise, but only under your shadow. Make them feel indispensable to their own survival, while all the while ensuring that they remain tethered to you. If they ever begin to think they are independent, the chains begin to slip and power erodes. The art is to inspire gratitude without granting autonomy, respect without surrendering control.
History is full of rulers and leaders who failed because they empowered their allies too fully, trusting that loyalty could replace calculation. Machiavelli teaches us that trust is fragile, dependence is enduring. When your allies rely on you for survival, influence, or advancement, they are your instruments, your shields, your silent army. They fight not because they love you, but because they cannot function without you. And in this truth lies the quiet strength of power. The man who is needed, not merely admired, stands above all competition, commanding without fear, and shaping the world from behind the veil of necessity. Be a master of timing. Power is not merely about strength or cunning, it is about patience. To act too soon is to squander advantage. To act too late is to invite disaster. Machiavelli understood that the world moves according to its own rhythms, and the wise ruler moves with them, waiting for the exact moment when action will achieve maximum effect. Timing is the invisible hand that turns strategy into victory. Every word spoken, every gesture made, every alliance forged must be calibrated to the moment. Speak too soon, and your message will be ignored or resisted. Strike too soon, and you reveal weakness. Strike too late, and opportunity is lost forever. The man who masters timing sees the patterns beneath chaos, the subtle shifts in loyalty, the faintest glimmer of ambition, the first cracks in opposition, and acts when the world is least prepared. In the modern age, timing is even more crucial. News travels at the speed of light, alliances form and dissolve overnight, and reputations can be ruined in an instant. The one who acts impulsively may win a battle, but the one who acts at precisely the right moment can win the war without spilling unnecessary blood. Machiavelli's lesson is clear. Patience is not inaction, it is strategic observation. Wait, watch, and understand the currents beneath the surface. Then, when the moment comes, act decisively, with force and precision. The world will not see you coming until it is too late. And in that instant, mastery is yours. Hide the effort, show the ease. True mastery of power is invisible labor made to appear effortless.
Machiavelli knew that the world admires not the toil, but the results, especially when they seem to come naturally. Sweat, struggle, and relentless calculation must remain behind the curtain, for the moment others perceive your effort, they perceive vulnerability. The man who labors openly invites scrutiny, envy, and competition. The man who conceals his toil appears almost supernatural, as if fortune itself bends to his will. In practice, this means performing with the precision of someone who has done little, even after doing much. It is the smile that conceals the calculation, the casual remark that masks the strategy, the effortless victory that comes after months or years of hidden work. The observer sees only the outcome, not the unseen hand that guided it. In business, politics, or influence, this creates awe and authority. People follow not merely because of success, but because they are convinced it is inherent to you, as if the world itself conspires in your favor. Moreover, hiding your effort protects you from resentment. Those who see the work behind success may feel cheated, bitter, or inspired to compete. But when effort is invisible, no one knows the cost, and no one can challenge your apparent ease. You become untouchable, not only in your accomplishments, but in the perception of power itself. In short, conceal the grind, reveal only the result, and you turn ordinary skill into legendary mastery. The world will bend towards you, mistaking calculation for instinct, patience for genius, and strategy for fate.
15. Use absence to increase respect. Presence is overrated. Familiarity is dangerous, and overexposure is a silent killer of influence. Machiavelli understood that scarcity breeds value. When you are constantly visible, constantly speaking, constantly performing, your power diminishes because people become accustomed to you. They stop noticing, stop fearing, stop admiring. The wise ruler, however, uses absence as a tool. He appears at moments of significance, vanishes at moments of excess, and lets the world feel the void that only he can fill. Absence is strategic. It creates anticipation, desire, and respect. When you are not always there, every word you speak, every move you make, carries weight. People begin to measure your presence against their own expectations and anxieties. They start to wonder where you are, what you are doing, and what will come next. In this vacuum, perception is amplified. Absence transforms ordinary acts into extraordinary influence. But absence must be calculated. Vanish too long, and you are forgotten. Appear too often, and you are taken for granted. The balance is subtle. Be scarce enough to remain desired, yet present enough to maintain control. Machiavelli would warn that the ruler who constantly fills every space leaves no room for intrigue, no room for loyalty, no room for awe. Those who manage this delicate rhythm, appearing, vanishing, and returning, command more than obedience. They command fascination, fear, and silent reverence. Absence is not retreat. It is power in waiting, a quiet force that ensures the world bends to your timing, your will, and your influence. 16. Weaponize scarcity and mystery. Scarcity and mystery are twin instruments of control, tools that the cunning wield to bend desire, manipulate perception, and dominate influence. Machiavelli understood that what is abundant is devalued. What is hidden becomes irresistible. People chase what they cannot have, fear what they do not understand, and revere what is shrouded in secrecy. The wise strategist ensures that both apply to himself.
He is seen only when advantageous, understood only when necessary, and known only in fragments, leaving the mind of others to fill the gaps with speculation, curiosity, and awe. Scarcity is not mere absence. It is calculated limitation. Appear rarely, offer selectively, reveal pieces, but never the whole. Mystery amplifies power, for what is unknown commands attention, respect, and fear. Let others expend their energy attempting to understand you, while you move freely among them, unchallenged and unanticipated. The combination of scarcity and mystery creates obsession. People desire your favor, fear your judgment, and are compelled to serve your agenda without realizing it. This principle extends to every facet of life. In politics, it ensures that rivals cannot predict your next move. In business, it makes competitors and collaborators alike overvalue your presence. In personal influence, it fosters fascination, intrigue, and even fear. A man who reveals all is predictable. A man who reveals nothing is unstoppable. Machiavelli teaches that power does not merely occupy space, it captivates it. By weaponizing scarcity and mystery, you make yourself a force that others chase, serve, and ultimately cannot oppose without peril.
17. Turn enemies into warnings. Enemies are inevitable. Those who envy, oppose, or fear your rise will always emerge. And how you handle them determines the measure of your power. Machiavelli understood that defeating an enemy is not enough. One must also make an example of them. Let their fall speak louder than your words. Let their punishment echo through the ranks, a silent reminder of what happens to those who challenge you. In doing so, you do not merely remove a threat, you transform it into a tool of influence. Turning enemies into warnings is a subtle art. It is not enough to strike. Strike with visibility and intention. Let the world see the consequences of disloyalty, betrayal, or defiance, without appearing cruel or vindictive beyond reason. A ruler who punishes quietly may protect his conscience, but he misses the opportunity to instill respect and fear. Those who witness the fate of your enemies begin to self-regulate, to hesitate before defiance, to reconsider ambition that might cross you. In this way, your power grows without constant conflict. Your reputation precedes you, and obedience is purchased with caution rather than affection. This principle also extends beyond the immediate battlefield. Let the defeated enemy serve as a lesson in subtlety, patience, and strategy. Others will watch, analyze, and internalize the consequences of misjudging you. They will speak your name with reverence and fear, knowing that challenge carries a cost they cannot afford. The enemy becomes a permanent monument to your authority, a warning that lives long after the conflict ends, shaping the actions, choices, and loyalties of all who come after. In the theater of power, enemies are not merely obstacles, they are instruments of dominance, teaching others to obey even before you issue a command. 18. Play the fool, hide the fox. Appear harmless, appear simple, appear even foolish, and you disarm those who might oppose you. Machiavelli knew that the cleverest predator often moves unnoticed, concealed behind the mask of naivety. People underestimate what seems weak, predictable, or unthreatening. By presenting yourself as a harmless observer, a simple participant, or even a fool, you lull others into complacency, encouraging them to expose their strategies, weaknesses, and ambitions. And while they believe they hold the advantage, you are calculating every move, every word, every pause. This strategy is not deceit for its own sake.
It is survival and triumph. The fox is cunning, the fool is ignored, and the combination allows power to grow invisibly. When your opponents finally realize the depth of your intellect, the magnitude of your strategy, it is too late. They are already trapped in the consequences of their underestimation. Your apparent foolishness invites confidence from rivals, letting them reveal their secrets, overreach, and make mistakes you can exploit. In life, business, politics, and social influence, the ability to mask intelligence behind humility or naivety is priceless. The world rewards confidence, but it fears cunning. By playing the fool, you hide the fox within, making your brilliance invisible until it strikes with precision. Machiavelli teaches that appearances are not merely reflections, they are weapons. A hidden fox moves silently, strikes suddenly, and leaves those who misjudged it in awe, confusion, and defeat. The one who underestimates you becomes your unwitting instrument, paving the path for your victory while believing themselves in control.
19. Never trust gratitude. Gratitude is fleeting. People forget favors as quickly as they are given, and loyalty tied to indebtedness is fragile. Machiavelli understood that expecting lasting loyalty from those you help is a fool's mistake. The world is governed by self-interest, not sentiment. What people owe you today, they may disregard tomorrow if opportunity or desire pulls them elsewhere. To trust gratitude is to place your fate in the hands of the unreliable. The wise ruler gives strategically, not from goodwill. Aid, favors, and assistance must always serve your interests first. Let others believe they are indebted, but never allow them to gain independence that could threaten you. The act of giving is a tool, not a bond, and it must always reinforce your power rather than create obligations you cannot enforce. Gratitude cannot be counted on. It must be replaced with structures of dependence, incentives, and subtle control. Moreover, by assuming gratitude is unreliable, you prepare for betrayal before it occurs. Machiavelli teaches that the intelligent leader expects treachery, watches for it, and designs systems that protect himself even from those who claim loyalty. Trusting the memory of a favor is like building a fortress on sand. It will collapse when pressure comes. True power lies in controlling conditions, not relying on human sentiment. Give, but give in a way that ensures you remain untouchable. Help, but help only when it extends your influence. Gratitude is a fleeting illusion. Power is eternal when constructed with foresight, calculation, and unwavering attention to self-interest. 20. Control emotion. Rule the game. The weak are ruled by their passions. Anger, fear, pride, and envy are chains that bind the unwary, allowing others to manipulate, deceive, and control them. Machiavelli understood that to master power, one must first master the self. Emotional mastery is the invisible weapon of influence. It allows you to act when others hesitate, to see clearly when others panic, and to exploit weakness when others are blinded by sentiment. Control of emotion is not suppression, it is calculation. A leader must appear calm in the face of crisis, unshaken by insult, unmoved by provocation. Those who can provoke you are attempting to wrest control, to manipulate your actions, and to dictate the narrative of your behavior. By remaining composed, you deny them victory. You create an aura of invincibility where no threat appears sufficient to disturb you. Others hesitate, overthink, and expose themselves, while you operate freely, guided solely by strategy and foresight. This principle extends to every battlefield of life. Negotiations, conflicts, rivalries, and alliances are all arenas where emotion can be exploited. Anger provokes rash action. Pride invites overreach. Fear paralyzes. The master of power regulates these forces within himself, turning observation into opportunity and patience into dominance.
By ruling your own mind, you rule the game itself. While others are swept along by the tides of sentiment, you remain the constant, the observer, the one whose actions carry weight, precision, and inevitability. Machiavelli's lesson is clear. He who cannot master himself is always a pawn. He who can master himself becomes unstoppable.
21. Win without fighting. The highest mastery of power is not in the clash of swords, the public battle, or the open confrontation. It is in victory achieved without visible struggle. Machiavelli understood that the greatest rulers rarely need to engage directly to triumph. They bend circumstance, manipulate perception, and shape decisions so that others act in ways that serve their ambitions, all while believing they act freely. To win without fighting is the ultimate proof of intelligence, patience, and strategy. This requires subtlety, foresight, and the ability to influence minds invisibly, control alliances, steer ambition, and guide desire so that opponents dismantle themselves or advance your plans unknowingly. The best victories are those that appear inevitable to all, the triumphs that seem dictated by fate rather than cunning. The world respects force, but it reveres skill so complete that conflict becomes unnecessary. By orchestrating outcomes without direct confrontation, you preserve resources, avoid resentment, and ensure long-term dominance. In practical terms, this can be a whisper that turns friends against each other, a decision that forces rivals to compete in your favor, or a perception so expertly controlled that others surrender their advantage voluntarily. The man who wins without fighting does so not because he is stronger, but because he understands the machinery of influence, the psychology of men, and the subtle currents of power that others ignore. Machiavelli's ultimate lesson is clear. True power lies not in overt conquest, but in shaping the world so that it bends to your will before anyone realizes the game has even begun. These are Machiavelli's 21 rules of power. They are not gentle, nor are they kind, but they are true. The world is not fair, people are not loyal, and morality is not what wins. What wins is perception, timing, calculation, and control. You do not have to become a tyrant to use these rules. You only need to see the world as it is, not as you wish it to be. Because in the end, power is not about strength, it is about understanding. And once you understand human nature, you will never be deceived, never be controlled, never be outsmarted. The choice is yours. Play the game blindly or master it with open eyes. Machiavelli left the map. Whether you follow it, that is up to you.